Hello everyone, this is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. I wanted to look at the vibe of the week for the coming week, the upcoming week. Now when I tuned into this reading, I got the messages around that while things have been tough, they certainly were tough last week, that we're moving into release this week, this coming week, where things will actually will start to move toward getting better, or that solutions may start to appear. So it's almost like, we've been gritting our teeth, and, as I said, last week was all about obstacles. This week it's like we draw this collective breath, this collective sigh of relief. So whatever's been tough in your life, look for some reprieve this week, some improving of the situation, and almost like, when things get better or start to get better, they do so in a way that makes you, it is around the emotion of relief. So it's like, you're climbing a mountain. It's like you've been climbing a mountain and then it's like, okay, things weren't that hard after all, okay? So there is solutions here coming up this week, particularly around ones that will actually provide you with relief. So let's have a look at what the cards are actually indicating. So looking for the vibe of the week. Let me just I'm not very good with dates, as you might have gathered. It's like, okay, so we've got... over here in Australia, it's actually the 2nd of December, and we've got the week beginning the 3rd of December. Might be the 1st of December wherever you are, depending on where you're located in the world. So let's have a look at the vibe of the week for the coming week beginning 2nd, 3rd of December. Yep. This week's you're going to get a glimmer this week of conditions that are being set up for 2019. This is kind of like what I was talking about with relief. It's like 2019, we've got Jupiter coming in, well, actually into the sign of Sagittarius, which actually is my sign. And we've got conditions improving in 2019. Even though there's still some hard stuff coming up, it's the position in the cycle that we're at, okay? So it's like, we're traveling up this incline, if you like, up the mountain. And, we're kind of like there, and things are going to start to improve. It's not to say that we'll get a smooth run. That's not what we're saying, but it's around the timing and the position of where everything is at. So I'm not an astrologer. An astrologer would make better sense of this than me. Perhaps that's something for future study for me, because I am the eternal learner. So that's my feeling, my reading on the conditions of this week. It's kind of like going to be a mini snapshot into what 2019, the opportunities that 2019 might present, because Jupiter is all about opportunity. Most of all, I'm really looking forward to that relieving in hard situations where there's a lot of obstacles. You might get more cooperation from people as well. This is what I'm trying to say when I'm talking about relief. It's like, where there were obstacles in the past, you might actually find that people are starting to cooperate. And it's like, hang on, but last week they weren't, this week they are. That's the kind of conditions that, and that's good. It's good. It's like, why was there such an obstacle to begin with? Well, we know why, but anyway. Okay, so vibe of the week, beginning the 3rd of December, vibe of the week. Vibe of the week, what messages do we need to have? Vibe of the week, 3rd of December. Okay, new starts, exactly what I saw. The Ace of Pentacles coming forward with a new start. And last week I felt very strongly that it was around career and finances, but also relationships with other people. But the Ace of Pentacles is coming forward more to do with the material, with, the physical world, if you like. our financial security, our work, our career. This is kind of where you might, if there were troubles and obstacles, you might find the relief coming this week there. And look, it's again we're pulling the Pentacles suit, which is actually again indicating it is around the work, the career, the finances. After potentially a time where you might have been worried about these things, the Five of Pentacles is being left out in the cold. But here we have our signifier card for the week is new starts, okay? So coming along after conditions might have been like this. Might have been, being on the periphery of things. I'll actually come back to this card because I like to deepen things, slow it down a bit and deepen them. So while this is relating to the physical world, it's also relating to your place in the physical world. So we judge things often by income, by, how's your job going? How much money do you have? Did you buy a new car? All of those sorts of things. But the other aspect of this card is when we're left out in the cold, it's almost like, we've really got to dig deep to find our worth beyond this physicalness, this materialism, I guess it's called, but not in a bad sense because, earning, work, money, all of those things, they're the very foundations and structures of what our society is built upon. But I think the challenge with all these earthly necessities, if you like, these earthly pursuits, because some people can come forward in this life with a purpose around their career, and that is worthy. That is a very worthy purpose. And people can find meaningfulness in the work that they do for others, for themselves and for others. Great writers, great artists can inspire a whole renaissance, can't they? So there's a deeper aspect to this card. If you're finding yourself on the fringes of society, the idea here is that there will actually be new starts for you. There might even be a bit of a renaissance. And the King of Swords, this is largely coming because the trying situations that we were in last week, or the cycle that we were in last week, we're about to start again. And we're, starting again wiser. We're starting again with more clarity. So setbacks exist for a reason. They actually allow us to gather our learnings, gather our thoughts, do the reflection, and actually increase our, it's not our power, our personal power, although in a way it is, but it really does allow us to increase our awareness of situations. And with that awareness then becomes another way of seeing things. So this is what I was alluding to when I said that after the obstacles, after the hard situations, you might find that people will change a little bit. Those obstacles will be removed, and you'll go, well, why couldn't that have happened before? And it is because of this card. It's actually because there was some learning there was some block that needed removing, there was some lesson there that needed to be reflected upon. And when we have these conditions, then we set ourselves up for these kind of new starts. So the vibe of the week, I think, is taking that collective sigh of relief, because whatever was hard about last week, at some level we've learnt something from that, and we're coming in out of the periphery. Okay, so we're able to actually. I love this card, even though it's a negative, can be a negative card. I mean, the literal meaning is being left out in the cold. Its superficial interpretation is we've lost some money, or you know, we've lost our job or whatever. But the deeper meaning is that in being left out in the cold, you can see the light coming down onto these two paupers, if you like. It's illuminating their situation. And the next card, the Six of Pentacles, is all about loans, gifts, generosity, coming from society, okay, coming from that societal perspective. So I see this card as a necessary passage to moving towards something to improve situations. And it's around society. It's around acceptance. It's around generosity. I mean, if we know nothing else, we should know that we come here, I guess. Well, I don't want to foist my views onto you, but my spiritualism tells me that relationships are a real cornerstone of our learning. But they're not just our learning, they're a cornerstone of the good stuff as well. Okay, the joy, the happiness, the reprieve after difficulties, the generosity, the heartwarming, and I think when I said this week is a mini snapshot of 2019, I think in places of the world, in America, in Australia, perhaps Canada, all over the world. The world is something without borders, so strike out the naming of the countries. I think that this is a mini snapshot into what we will see. It's almost like the lessons had to be there. We'll be drawing a collective sigh of relief. And we will be seeing things more clearly because of the difficult passage we've had to go through, the learning that we've had to undergo. So I look very much to this week for glimmers. Okay, the glimmers of new starts. They may not be totally obvious next week, but there'll be something there that make you go, oh, okay. All right, so that's the vibe of the week. Week beginning 2nd, 3rd of December. I'm hoping that it will be an easier, a better week for us because, and for me too, because last week was, as I said, that obstacle week. Anyway, I'll leave it there. That's the vibe of the week for the coming week. Thank you.